Why don't they teach that at school? Like, we need more financial literacy at school since we're kids.
I think it's bad for America. Like, it's good for us, but I think this is like a conspiracy thing. But I feel like if you teach kids the real stuff, then it's bad for corporations.
No, yeah, I agree.
To a point.
To a point where these companies gotta leverage people. And the less they know, the better.
Right. Welcome to Cash Cuties,
a podcast where you learn how to live and die fast.
Yes, I am your host, Fumi Abe.
And I'm Steffie Baik. If you're listening on your Apple Pod app, please leave a review, hit follow on Spotify, and sub to our YouTube channels for all the video version of this podcast. All the links are available in the episode description below.
No Dono Daddies this week because we recorded like 2 days ago. But if you want to support this podcast, please go to patreon.com/cashcutiespod. And for your donation, in return for your donation, in exchange, you get bonus episodes and behind the scenes content. I think we have like 7 bonus episodes right now where it's just me and Steffi fucking around talking about money. So if you like more of this shit with no guest, go to patreon.com/cashcutiespod and check that shit out. I had a thing happen last week and I've been dying to talk to you about it, actually. Okay, your boy's in an open relationship, right? Yeah. Okay, so like I don't really go on dates that much, but last Monday, I like went and got lunch with somebody.
A fan?
She wasn't like a fan. She did DM me. I think she like found me on Instagram, but she's not like familiar with like this podcast or anything like that. Anyway, she like sent into my DMs and we were kind of like flirting, and then we're like, let's meet for lunch. And I was like, okay, sure.
Did you tell him you're in an open relationship?
Yeah, I always do. Yeah.
How do you bring it up?
I just say like, hey, just for the sake of transparency, like I'm in like an open thing. I have a partner. We live together.
So that's interesting because you're already assuming that if they hit you up at that point, they're potentially interested.
I don't message immediately. I only told her because she asked me out. She asked me to dinner. And so I was like, oh, whoa, is this like a date? And she's like, it could be. And then I was like, okay, well, in that case, this is sort of my situation.
God damn, Fumi.
So anyways, I go to this lunch, hang. And, it's fun. And, I was going to pay for her anyways. It wasn't whatever. It was lunch, right? But when the check came, she didn't even look at the thing. She didn't reach in her purse. It's like she had assumed that I was going to pay, right? So that already like kind of pissed me off because I'm like,
did she look at it? What did she do during the time?
She didn't even look at it, bro.
No, what did she make eye contact? Was she continue? Were you guys talking? Like what exactly happened at that moment?
The check came and like I already had my card ready because ever since we had Kalila on, we talked about like the speed of the check, right? So I already had it ready in my pocket. I had like
no.
You know what's so funny? I was talking to her and with one hand I was in my pocket and I was unzipping. I was like opening my wallet and getting the card in my pocket like this and had it ready. But I still expected her to like sort of do the fake out. You know what I mean? So she didn't do it. But not only did she not, so I pay, right? And then when we leave, this is the part that got me. She doesn't say thank you. She doesn't.
Whoa.
Now that's what I want to talk to you about because the check thing, sure, maybe that happens sometimes in all kinds of situations, whatever. But the thank you part, I was like, no.
Wait a second. She didn't say thank you. Do you think she forgot? Was she nervous on the date?
No, I don't think she forgot at all.
Wait,
she was talking her fucking head off, dude.
What do you think?
I think this person...
That's a move.
I think this person... I have a couple different theories. One, maybe she was just raised this way. Two, she told me she comes from like a pretty wealthy family. And so I was thinking like, oh, maybe really wealthy people don't really think about money. And so... Excuse me. It's not even worth it for her to say thank you because in her world, a lot of people just have money and it's not a big deal who pays. It doesn't matter who pays.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that's what I'm thinking, but
it's expected that you pay.
Yeah,
like as a guy, you think?
Maybe it's expected,
what
really,
ethnicity is this person?
She was not Asian. I'll say that.
Okay.
But just the thank you part really, really annoyed me. It really, really annoyed me. And I'm only saying this because, again, even if I took a friend out and I pay for that friend,
you have to say thank you.
You have to say thank you.
Oh,
what do we think about this?
I don't like it. I feel like that was really rude of her, but it sounds like she didn't even like really consider it, which is the worst part. She didn't even see you as human. You're basically just you're a prop for the day. Almost.
I know. I was thinking I was like, oh, did she just hit me up because she wanted free lunch or something?
No. I don't think it was a free lunch thing. I think
because we did have a fun
Did you entertain
conversation.
her?
Yeah, we did have a fun conversation. Like I did enjoy our time together.
Maybe she thought you were gonna give her a free comedy show and she didn't like it.
Oh, like over lunch.
Over lunch.
She wasn't,
and she
impressed.
was gonna pay only. She might have tipped you.
So I wasn't charming enough during lunch, is what you're saying. Yeah, maybe. I just thought it was like. I truly thought it was the most insane thing.
I think you should ask. You had a good time, it sounds like.
Should I follow up and be like, hey, why don't you say thank you?
No. I think you should now go on the day and be like, hey, it's your turn. Like, let's go hang out. But like, I want you to communicate that she should somehow pay.
So you think to get back at her, I need to go on a second hang.
Yeah, but
and then do it on her dime.
Yeah.
And then make it very clear, like, well, I paid for you last time, so
yeah, like why don't you pay for me?
Yeah, and I'll just spring it on her when the check comes.
Yeah, because that would be fun. Like as a second, like I would like to know next week
what happens.
What happens?
Yeah.
If you try it, but you can't be prepared to pay first. You gotta let it sit there for a little. I get so awkward now.
Was that my mistake that I didn't let it sit there?
Yes, because that's what happened to me. Remember when I paid for those guys? It was because I immediately brought it out, and then they were like, well, they said thank you.
Well, okay, that's the other thing. So I immediately brought it out, and I think that if I had done that for any other person, they'd been like, oh, are you sure you don't want to split it? Or like, oh, thank you. Or like they would have reacted to me putting down the card.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt very like disrespected, and it didn't make me feel good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You gotta say thank you, right? Am I crazy?
It's a respectful thing, but they might have not been brought up in that situation again, like you said with the money.
What do we do in these situations as humans, as people in our 30s? What do we do? Do we just excuse them because their mama didn't raise them right?
I think you should be petty and be like, you didn't say thank you.
I like thought about messaging her that. Just because there's nothing there, right? Like I'm not, like she's looking for.
I think you should jokingly be like, hey, so when are you going to thank me for the food? No, she's gonna screenshot them and be like, oh, he's petty. You become the petty no matter what.
Right.
There is no winning. You have to let it go. You look like you're annoying no matter what at that point.
Right. But I thought about being annoying just because I don't really think we're gonna like see each other again, really, because I don't really know what the point is, because I think she's looking for like something more serious, and I cannot give her that. So like, she already
knew that before you guys hung out, so maybe she realized then when they were together, and she's like, I just wasted my time. Right? And then she's like, fuck it, whatever, I'm not even gonna try.
Right.
Because I could see like if I went on a date and someone was really annoying, not that I'm saying you were.
Oh, it's okay.
Or I knew that there was like nothing else happening except they just want to fuck me.
Yeah.
Then I would absolutely be like, fuck it, I'm not paying this shit.
Oh, maybe I was giving off I want to fuck you energy too much.
Oh, but because like it depends on if she's the type of person who can. If she was looking for that's a very different story. If she just was looking for a hookup, it probably doesn't matter.
I think she was on the fence. I think she didn't really know what she wanted, you know?
You know what? Recently, ever since the whole check thing, on dates, I don't go reach for my wallet. Ever since our conversation too, I don't do the reach out really fast. I've also just stopped even trying to do the thing. So I'm actually being like that girl, but that's only because I'm interested in the guy. Like the more interested I am in the guy, the higher the stakes are for the stakes are higher where they need to win my affection or love or something. Like they need to show me
through that gesture,
and me allowing them to pay is like me being like,
I see.
I'm more down to like be your thing.
Yeah.
Your boo.
That's interesting to like see how he reacts. Like, because it's not really about the money. You just want to see how he reacts to this financial situation. Does he freak out? Does he try to split it? Is he going to be in a bad mood?
I am obsessed. Okay, this one guy, he just doesn't even question it. He sets up the dates. Mm-hmm. He just puts down his, like, he's never asked. Like, he makes it so nice that I don't have to, like, play this, like, oh, I don't, the whole thing. He just does exactly what you said, or what, Kalila was saying that guys do, where they just pulls it out. Yeah. And it's because he's already settled in that part of his life.
Right.
Now, when you're dating someone who is kind of like, still working on their craft, and that's where I feel like, which I've also been going on dates with those guys. It's a little bit more of like this awkward like hassle thing. So it makes it less sexy and like more.
But
less,
you say thank you though, right?
Well, of course I say thank you. Or I've given gifts like for the guy who has been like taking me out and stuff. I've gotten something for him. I think about him.
I guess maybe it's not fair. Like I guess like in a different world, if we had continued to go, if I was single, we kept going.
If you're rich, you wouldn't care.
No, if I was rich, I wouldn't. Again, it's not the money; it's the fucking thank you. But are you saying
really? You think that you would care about the thank you as much if you were rich?
Oh, but that's an interesting question. Do you think that once you get so rich, I think I would still care about the thank you, no matter how much money I had, because that's just how I was raised, and it's an acknowledgement of like, like it's an acknowledgement of my generosity, right? It's so I think we just want to be seen, dog. I just want to be seen by say thank you. If I ever buy you something, fucking say thank you, okay?
So today's guest is a self-made millionaire, former math teacher, and content creator, Steve Chen. Hi. So, Steve.
You're not going to let him say hi? You're not going to let him say anything?
Hi.
Say something.
How's it going?
That was hilarious.
Sorry,
okay.
I was I'm so excited about
Thank you for
today.
coming on the pod, man.
Thank you.
First
Thank
podcast,
you.
right?
My very first podcast.
There we go. You can look at us too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can look
I'm
at
like,
whatever.
should I list? I'm not too sure.
Let's get into it.
That's so funny. We're excited about you because you're like one of the smarter people on our pod who's actually one of two who's actually talking about money with us.
Yeah, so we're super excited.
And we have so many money questions.
For the people who don't know, I think a lot of people know Cuties, Steve. My girlfriend knew who you were. But for people who don't know, just a quick background of like, what do you do and how are you making money these days?
Yeah, sounds good. So I am a finance content creator. I've been doing it since 2020. So we give a little bit of money tips online on all major social media platforms. And we have our coaching services with getting people to get started with investing. That's what we really encourage our community to do, especially if they're at that younger age where you want to get started with investing as soon as you can, make it a good, positive wealth habit, because that's when all that compound interest really takes off. So
it's Call to Leap, right? Is the site. So you are teaching people how to be financially savvy. Is that what it is? It's coaching, right?
Yeah.
Now, is it in video format? Like, is it on like YouTube videos or something that you're sending to them? Or is it like one-on-one?
Okay. So yeah, it's basically it's a community that people join. They get to kind of talk to my other students, my other members. We have a Discord. I created this because when I got into this whole FIRE space, right? Financial independence, retire early. I was super scared because I was never taught about money. So I didn't know who to talk to, and I'm super introverted myself. So I was like, oh, it would be really cool if I could create a safe space where people can talk about their finances. They can talk about anything, about credit cards, what people's favorite credit cards are, how to get started with investing, what their investing strategy is, real estate, side hustles, right? Increasing their earned income, what apps they like. So we talk about this all within the Discord. It's super cool. Everyone's very helpful. Everyone's in different places in their journey to financial freedom. So it's a very safe space. And within the community, we all have these videos where we kind of share with people like, oh, this is how you get started with investing, step-by-step tutorials. Click here, deposit this amount of money, depending on how much you feel comfortable with, right? You can dollar cost average in. What does dollar cost averaging mean, right? How do you choose the right brokerage for yourself? How do you choose the right account for yourself? So there are a lot of natural questions that I asked myself that I didn't know in my 20s. So I kind of like wrote everything down. I did it with a whole bunch of friends, asked the community, what is it that people are afraid of when it comes to investing, when it comes to saving? So I answer a lot of these natural questions within the community.
So what was your experience as like when you were younger with money? Because now everything in your life is about helping people make more money. What was it like when you were younger?
I've shared with my community how much I struggled with money growing up. My parents, they came from Taiwan back in the 80s. They had me. My dad went to school. He was studying for the first couple of years. My mom was kind of like the person who took care of the family. She got all these jobs as a waitress at all these restaurants. She worked as a maid. And I remember for a good portion of my childhood, maybe when I was like 4, 5, 6 years old, I'm kind of like just following my mom around after school, getting into the car, driving to these people's houses. And I would see my mom clean up all these people's houses, vacuuming, washing dishes, cooking like her scrambled eggs or whatever it is. And I'm sitting in the corner of these rich people's houses, like on their couch, doing my homework, drawing Ninja Turtles or whatever. And just kind of like look at my mom work. And it was very heartbreaking for me just seeing my mom, who's like this little tiny little Asian lady, just like work really hard. And towards the end of each day, we get into our like old like Toyota Corolla, sit in there, and my mom would be like super stressed out, right? And she would say things to me like, don't use your hands, use your head, right? Like when you grow up. So she basically taught me, and of course my dad too, like you want to study hard, you don't want to be like me, working with my hands. She said she always wanted me to have some sort of job where I'm wearing some sort of shirt and tie in a nice air conditioned room, right? So I'm like, okay, yeah, like that's what I'll do. So I went through my whole life, trying to like appease my parents, getting good grades, getting good SAT scores. But just my entire childhood, I kind of saw money as like a very scarce thing. I was very scared that it would disappear, right? Like my mom, like a treat for ourselves. Like we always ate at home. It was like really weird if we went out to eat. But for us, whenever there was like some special day, we would go to McDonald's. And that was like a special treat for me. And when we went to McDonald's, I remember I was never allowed to buy anything that was above $1. Yeah, so like I don't know if you guys remember.
What year is this? I was like, it's impossible now.
Impossible now.
Burgers are a penny each.
Yeah, the dollar menu doesn't even exist anymore, right?
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. I remember hamburgers were 29 cents each. I remember vividly. And then like the cheeseburgers were 39 cents each. So those were like the only things that I was able to get on the menu. And if I asked for anything else, like a Big Mac or something, my parents would be so upset. Like, why are you getting this? Right. So just kind of that kind of, going through that just made me say, oh, okay, I don't deserve this. I can't, I don't deserve good things or like expensive things. I remember when I went to college, I got my driver's license. I went out with my friends. We would go to like In-N-Out or McDonald's or whatever. I would see them order like a meal with like Coke or like fries. And that was so weird for me. Like, oh, they got a Big Mac with Coke? Like my parents, they would bring their own water bottles or their own Coke cans that they would get from like Albertsons and take it into McDonald's, and we would drink that and then have our 29 cent, 39 cent, or like 99 cent burger or whatever. So just like going into college, like that was very different for me, right? I remember, like nice places were like Sizzlers. Do you guys know what that is?
Yeah.
I just found out what it was. That place is awful. It is awful.
I almost went on a date there last week with somebody.
That's kind of where you're at
still
right
exist?
now.
Ironically, yeah, it still exists. I heard it was a Tuesday. They have those Taco Tuesdays or something.
Yeah.
But
It's expensive now.
we used to steal the bread. Not steal, but do you remember those loaves? Did your family do that?
Yes.
Yeah, right? We take the extra bread. The bread is good. It's like biscuits or something. And we would take napkins and put them in it and shove it in our bags for the next day.
You did this with your family?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, damn.
We had like plastic bags and everything. We put like the little dinosaur chicken nuggets and everything into bags. And I'm just like,
damn.
Oh my God, like I can't believe we're doing that,
What you said to me that really resonated is you said, oh, I don't deserve this.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you learn that as a kid, or if that's like a neuron thing happening when you're a kid, it's hard to like undo that. So do you feel like now that even, you are a millionaire, do you still have moments of that? Or do you think it took $1 million for you to be like, okay, now I deserve it?
That is a script that still comes up within my head. There are times where I'm like, oh, should I get the guac at Chipotle? Like, I don't know.
Dude, it's like $3.50 now.
Is it
It's like
350?
350, 375 for guac.
But this is
For
why
guac?
I do vegetarian, because I convince myself, I'm like, it's better for the planet, and also you get free guac. And I'm like, I
You
don't
get
need
free
the meat.
guac with the veggie bowl?
Yeah, it
I had
doesn't
no
come with
idea.
meat.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
learn something. Yeah.
But he's a millionaire. He doesn't need to think like this. But continue. Yeah. When does it come up for you?
I mean, just like little moments like that. I
The
think
Chipotle. That's
just
so
like
funny,
Chipotle.
dude.
Yeah.
It's like, first of all, why are you doing that at Chipotle, bro? You're rich.
I love
I
Chipotle.
love Chipotle. Yeah.
And we were starting my business, my real estate business
Yeah.
with my ex. We both had like no money in the bank account, and we would treat ourselves to Chipotle, but we would share the bowl, and we would get we would ask for double everything. And of course, like the workers were always fucking annoyed, but we would share that, and that was our like meal for lunch. It was like a $7.59. At that
you
time,
don't
it
have
was
to pay
cheaper.
for double. Double's
No,
free.
no.
Like
Well,
extra-
not the meat, not the
not the meat,
meat,
but the rice.
Everything else, I always ask for more
Yeah,
of
yeah,
everything,
yeah,
or I'd be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I want the green and the the white sauce with
Yeah,
other
yeah,
salsa.
yeah.
So it was just like always, and we would share that, and that made me so happy, and I still like think about that
Aw.
even now.
Oh my God, struggle stories. Okay.
Oh no, we do the same thing.
Dude, oh my god! Struggle stories. Sorry, Fumi.
I'm hating on
Experience-
Chipotle. Yeah. You know what's interesting
Yeah.
is like you have this right kind of upbringing. Your parents are like, you have to work in the office and you have to do better than us,
Yeah.
right? But then you become a school teacher, right? A career infamous for only making like $30,000 or whatever it is, right? So like, what did your parents think when you first got that job? And then, you know, how did you what was your journey there? Because you would think that if somebody was sort of like going through that and you are getting the good grades and stuff like that, I would think that person would be like, I guess I'm going to go do finance so I can make the most money, because that is what I'm being taught, is I need to have more money, right? And so like, yeah, walk us through about like that decision to go into education.
Sure. Yeah. Well, you know, I had a lot of different career changes when I was in college. I initially, well, in high school, I was like president of architecture club. I was like nerd. I like to draw, do math. So I was like, oh, maybe I can go into architecture. I went into architecture, went to Cal Poly, did that for a year, didn't like it, went into medical field.
Really?
Yeah, I did. And I got my bio degree. But before I, completed my bio degree, I was like, oh, maybe I should become a doctor. And then I didn't like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I should become a dentist. I met a friend. He was convincing me to become a dentist. I was like, okay, maybe I can do that. So I did that path for a good 4 years, 4 years. And literally the quarter before I was about to graduate, I went to Disneyland, and I was like,
Where's this going?
yeah,
And now I'm Aladdin.
And then,
I don't know.
I brought the genie bottle.
I'm a full-time Aladdin, baby.
He said I could be whatever I wanted.
I went into, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. I
Yeah.
was like, maybe I can be an animator, because I saw these people drawing there. You know, like they have those little displays of the people drawing. I was like, oh, I can totally do that. And I really love to draw. So I told my parents, literally the quarter before I graduated, I'm going to be a Disneyland animator. She's like, what the like, what?
Yeah.
You went to school for like your bio degree. You took your OChem, your human phys. You took all this stuff, right? I was like, yeah, I really want to become an artist. And I finished my bio degree because I only had a quarter left. I'm like, just might as well just finish it. And then I went over to Mount Sac, took some art lessons there. And I was like, I don't think I can do this. So I was just kind of I was going back and forth. I really didn't know what to do. And then throughout my entire college life, I was tutoring. And that's what was helping me kind of like sustain myself. And I really love teaching. I'm a math nerd, so I really love explaining difficult concepts. I love to draw. I like to use toys to explain things. So then I said, maybe I can be a teacher. So, because I already knew that I loved it. So I got my teaching credentials, my master's degree in education, and became a teacher. And yeah.
And is everything they say about teachers financially true? Like underpaid, like all that stuff, all the negative stuff you hear?
Yes, in a sense, it depends. So my thing is, there's a lot of work being a teacher that maybe not a lot of people really recognize, because especially if the first couple of years being a teacher, because we have to go in very early. to grade papers, print out lesson plans, go to parents, teachers, conferences, staff meetings, before and after the bell rings. And then even in between, we have like 30-minute lunch, right? And I remember I'm just always like panicking, like, oh my gosh, like kids are gonna like come into my room and ask me questions, right? So
That was
it's
me.
like,
I didn't realize how annoying that was. I used to do that all the time, thinking that the teacher
You would like that.
Like it.
Yes, me
Oh,
too.
I
But
see.
even though
You did
even though
too.
they're just like trying to get 30 minutes of alone time.
Oh my god. I wanted to be teacher's pet so bad. It was like
They
sad.
hated us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would sometimes purposely lock my room just
Just to get away
so
from it all.
like just so I had my moment of like 20 minutes, 30 minutes of peace.
I know.
You know? And then 5 minutes of that is like me microwaving my food, and then like, or me washing my hands, or like waiting for the microwave, or doing something, so it's like 20 minutes really. And then I remember just like eating, and then we had like these blinds, and I always see like little eyes like peer into like the little cracks, and then they're like, Mr. Chen, I see you in there. I'm like, oh my.
What do they want?
They just
wanna
sometimes they
hang
just want to
out.
hang out, which is really cute. Like,
Yeah.
so
That's adorable.
which like I totally get, and then I tell them like, oh, if you want to hang out, that's fine. You can come in. You guys can hang out in the corner right there. But Mr. Chen's gonna have his little alone time right now. I need to like recharge a little.
Bro, just
bit,
watching
right?
Netflix?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
like watching Netflix or
No,
something.
you gotta.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's like I got paid around 52K a year.
That's high.
The
but I guess
first,
it's LA.
but I have my
so-
master's degree
Yeah.
and everything, and yeah, I mean, with everything after taxes or whatever, I think I had like 3K paycheck per month,
Per month,
something
right.
like that.
'Cause you gotta buy your own supplies and stuff too, right?
Supplies the school actually provides,
that's nice.
but the other stuff like candy, I used to get treats for my students, or maybe it's like pie day or something. I go to McDonald's, grab like a whole bunch of apple
Yo,
pies.
That's so triggering for you though.
Yeah,
McDonald's pie is more than $1 these days, dude.
That's right.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you're like a
there's
nice
a lot of
guy.
stuff that, or like I get backpacks, or like go to Walmart. They would have the notebooks
Backpacks?
like for 29
Yeah.
cents. Backpacks, folders
For kids.
for kids. Yeah.
Oh.
I know that sometimes the school would provide stuff, but sometimes they don't. So I would just go out of my way. I would just get some for them. But it's kind of hard. Like, I don't want to go through the paperwork to get reimbursed and everything. So I'm like, oh, whatever. I'll just shell it out myself and just like give it to them.
Did you feel like you weren't making enough money at that time?
Oh yeah,
Were you
definitely.
financially frustrated?
I was very frustrated. Yeah, I was really sad. The first couple of, I was like, I thought, oh, I got my master's and everything, but I don't know. It didn't click for me until I was in the game and I was teaching and I got my paychecks. I was like, oh, I get paid very little, and I don't get paid in the summer months. For June and July, right? I only get paid 10 months. Yeah, that's when I think it just really dawned on me, like, I gotta do something else.
So
There's
were
no
you
way.
investing during that time? Were you investing your money?
I was investing. I had a 403b. It's like a 401k,
Okay.
right? And my dad told me to open an IRA, so I did that. I didn't know what I was doing. For a good like period of time, I just like left my money in there. And
Just
I didn't
cash.
know I didn't know I was supposed to like buy stuff.
Yeah.
I was
think-
like,
you know
what?
what? A lot of people
Yeah.
don't know. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, yeah, I put money in, like that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Why don't they teach that at school? Like, we need more financial literacy at school since we're kids.
I think it's bad for America. Like, it's good for us, but I think it's like a conspiracy thing. But I feel like if you teach kids the real stuff, then it's bad for corporations because then they can't take advantage of us. That's my conspiracy.
Really, I
bro.
thought that would be better for the economy if there was more
Because
money
if
being.
people actually know what they're doing with their money, making smart decisions, right? Like capitalism is basically exploitation of dumb people or whatever. Not dumb people, but just people who don't know. And so I don't know. This is getting all Joe Rogan-y, but that's I don't know. What are
I
your
see what
thoughts
you're
about
saying.
that?
I see.
no, yeah, I agree.
To a
Yeah.
point,
Yeah, to
you
a
know,
point where these companies gotta leverage people, and
Yeah.
the less they know, the better,
Right.
right? Because if they go, oh shoot, like I can actually not have to work for you, I can do this by myself and save taxes here, then why am I using my skills for this? I can use my same exact skills for something else, right? So, and
Do you
also
think
like
it's
just like teaching, it was so hard for me to teach finances because it's not part of the curriculum, right? We had this schedule that every teacher has to stick to. there are these state tests that we usually give out in March. And these state tests determine how well our school performs, how good our teachers are, right? If we get funding or not. So it's a lot of pressure for us. And I know like people say, oh yeah, like, yeah, we're not teaching to the test or anything, but you kind of inadvertently do that. You start doing that because once the test arrives, like all the teachers start to kind of like freak out a little bit.
That's how you're evaluating.
Yeah, right. Like, and I get it. There's no perfect solution because they need data to see how it is that we're improving. Right? Like, are these kids really learning? Like, how do we measure that? And it's through test scores.
Right.
Yeah. Aside from teaching at public school, I had a lot of different like side gigs too. Just, doing random stuff. I was tutoring for the majority of my teaching career. I was tutoring, driving to kids' houses, Starbucks, libraries.
For extra money. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think you learned good work ethic from your mom, it seems like, or juggling multiple jobs, those types of things.
Yeah. Definitely. I think just seeing my mom, she was... definitely my work ethic came from my parents. After school, I get off at... Bell would ring around like 2:20, 2:30ish. I would kind of do my thing, staff meeting, whatever, come back home at like 4, and then I would tutor until like 8, something like that, 8:30. I had no life.
So you're a school teacher, right? But now you're a self-made millionaire. How did you get there? And what are you doing now that is netting you $1 million?
So when I was teaching, I kind of calculated my unit rate of time. Like, okay, how much money am I really making per hour? I think it came down to like $20, $25 or $30 or something like that per hour, right? And I was like, okay. And then I was thinking, I'm tutoring right now. I'm making like $50 per student, $100 per student per hour. Why am I teaching at public school now, right? And it was just, like I started to kind of start comparing things. And I was thinking, I'm at school. It's very stressful. There were a lot of things I need to do with parent-teacher conferences. I can't choose who I teach. Right? I have to get every student that gets on the roster, right? No matter what. But with business, with me tutoring, I get to choose who my clients are. I can charge whatever it is that I feel comfortable with. I can choose my time. So that light bulb really clicked for me during my 20s. And when I was teaching, I was doing a lot of one-on-ones because that's what I thought I saw other people doing, $20 an hour. And then at first I was charging around $15, $20 an hour. And then something occurred to me. I'm like, what if I charged 25? What would that happen? Like how would people react? And then I started asking for 25. No one said no. And then I was like, oh, how about 35? How about like 50? And then people were just like, yeah, that's no problem. That's no problem. So I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm undervaluing myself. So I was determining, I was kind of like
McDonald's philosophy, man.
Right? Like I'll just keep asking until someone says no, right? And if they say no, it's not the end of the world. I still have my other clients, right? So I started doing that. I was charging $70, $100 an hour.
Are you allowed to do that with public school students? Like you're taking them as your clients after school for private tutoring?
I couldn't teach my own students.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I were teaching, anyone else, that was okay.
Got it.
I used to do that in elementary school. I remember having other teachers be my tutors at home.
Different teachers?
Yeah, different teachers, not my... Yeah, different teachers would be my tutor.
Yeah. I wonder, I had tutors too. I wonder how much they made. I don't really know.
I think it was I think that my mom was charging them like $30, 25 to 30 at that time for elementary school.
It's not bad. But
that's back in
it's 30 minutes an hour a session.
Yeah.
How many students can really do after school every day after you're already so tired? 3 maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were private tutoring.
Making
a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more money now. And I then started thinking about all these other businesses. I was just kind of observing like, oh, how is it that other people are making all this money, right? And then I saw that there were like coaches online or like fitness coaches or whatever. They were teaching more than one student at the same time. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I could do that too. So then I started asking my students if they could maybe bring a friend. And instead of charging $100 an hour, I would say, hey, you know what? I'll charge you only $70 an hour now. And now I would get 140 because 70 plus 70 is 140. And now they get a better deal for themselves. So it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is kind of fun for me. And then I started to scale even more. How about 3 students? 5 students? And then I got to a point where the library couldn't fit that many students.
Yeah, like
right?
rent out a space
It's kind of
now.
weird,
Yeah.
right? I can't do it in someone's like one of my, like my students' like family room, or I can't do it at the park. It's too many kids, right? So I said, hey, what if I invited students over to my place and have them come to me rather than me go to them? So I started teaching in our living room, in one of our rooms. And then I got to a place where all these referrals were coming in. All these students really wanted me to teach them. My schedule got super packed. So now my demand was super high, but my supply was super low, which meant like I could charge even more. And I was like, okay, what's my next ceiling? The number
You're
of
still
students.
teaching at this point?
I'm not teaching anymore.
Oh, you're not teaching anymore. Okay, I was gonna say, that
like
sounds
things that I
crazy.
learned.
Okay.
And so I moved everything to online.
Okay.
I was teaching online, so now I don't have that physical space
Right.
as my limiting variable.
This is math.
Right.
You're teaching math.
Teaching math,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Yeah. So it was just through all of that, just that progression. And I was like, why am I still teaching in school? I can just teach for myself instead of teaching 40 students at once every period, or like, what is it? 40 times 5, 200 students every year. I can just limit my client base to just, maybe 30 students, 40 students on my teaching schedule. Right. And I use everything that I learned there, and I pushed built Call to Leap from that. Yeah.
And Call to Leap is like you're no longer teaching like calculus now.
Math.
It's all financial education.
That's
but
right.
Similar model, just different content.
That's right. Different
topics.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
We have so many financial questions for you, and I can't wait to get to
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna get to it right now. We actually have a segment called Masterclass with Steve,
Yeah.
where we can't really afford to take your class because Steph and I are struggling comedians and whatnot.
We're also cheap.
I'll hook you
Let's
guys
be
up.
real.
Yeah.
Like we
We're
want
cheap
free
later.
advice.
Yeah, I freaked out at
that's the
Guac
only-
350, dude. I can't be paying for his class right now.
This is why we have you here, actually. So you can give us some free
Yeah, we
access.
actually invited you so we can just ask you personal questions about our situation.
Well, you'll be helping some of our cash cuties.
Yeah,
who-
we actually get a lot of questions from our fans being like, "Can you actually get someone smart on?" Because we're sick of hearing from your dumbass
Yeah.
guests. So, do you want to ask him some
Yeah,
stuff? Yeah, go ahead.
If you had an extra 50K on you right now, what would you invest it in?
So for the general population, I would say have a high yield savings account, right? I think right now, high yield savings accounts give more than 4%. So for those of you who don't know what a high yield savings account is, basically it's a regular savings account, but instead of getting 0.01% interest on the money that we leave in, like Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they give 0.01%. We can now get 4.5, 5%. So what that really means is for every $100 that you put into your bank, we get like 1 penny back from like Chase, right? But then with these high yield savings accounts, we get $4, $5 back, which can add up. It's pretty crazy.
That's
So
more
I would
burgers.
say put in 3 to 6 months. Oh, what would you say?
I said that's like 5
More burgers.
burgers.
Yeah, 5 burgers. Yeah, seriously, you get like it's free money.
No, it is. Okay.
But it's crazy because a lot of people don't know about high yield savings
Yeah.
accounts. They're like really confused on what it is.
We really thought you were. So yesterday we were like, she was like, "Oh, he's gonna say high yield savings
I
account."
actually knew you were going to
you
say
knew-
high.
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say like VT Sacks or like ETF. or
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah.
So what's the
That's my
second
next.
thing? Okay,
Yeah.
that's the next.
Because
Yeah.
50K is a lot of money, so I'm like, that's a lot of money to just be sit. Because I have at one point had that much sitting in my high yield, and it's like it does add up, but we're talking like a couple $100 a month. You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah.
over a course of a year, maybe 3,000, which is cool.
Yeah.
You know, but 50K is a lot of money. Like you could
Yeah.
be putting it to more work. So I thought you would suggest like, I don't know, SPY or like something like
yeah.
that.
well,
Yeah.
again,
Which I do,
more,
yeah.
More aggressive. Like, what would you say for if you want to take a more aggressive
Slightly more aggressive
strategy?
approach.
So after the emergency fund, 3 to 6 months
Yeah.
is funded, right? I want to make sure that everyone's safe here. Okay.
Well safe.
All right.
Well
You're
safe.
so
So
sick.
then, yeah, I would say open up some sort of Roth IRA, some sort of taxable brokerage account, start investing. And for beginners, I would not recommend investing in individual stocks or anything. I would say just keep it simple. SPY, VOO, IVV, some sort of index fund or ETF that tracks the S&P 500. So when you buy one share, it just you're buying all the top 500 companies in the United States.
Okay, we did that.
Yeah, when you first got into investing, you straight up went to Nokia and GameStop.
I've lost like a few grand on Nokia.
On the
and
meme
you know
stocks.
what? I haven't taken it out. It's still there
you showed me.
dying.
You should just sell it and put it on something else.
Should I do that?
Yes, because it's just good. It's never going to go back
make-
up.
I would
Nokia's
say
not
sell
gonna-
it. Yeah, just take your loss and just
Take
write it
your
off the $3K per year.
Yeah,
right?
when you sell it, you can write off your loss and your taxes.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but when I sell it, can I actually? I have to like put it into something else in
You
my
don't
account,
have
right?
to. When you do it
Because
on
if not, I
Robinhood-
get taxed if I pull out the money.
No, because you lost money, so you're not going to get taxed.
Once you sell
Oh.
it, it's going to be a taxable event.
Yeah.
So, and it's okay. You can write off up to $3,000. If you have more than $3,000 worth of losses, you can just carry it over for the
Yeah.
next couple of years.
You lost money, so it's good.
Yeah.
Well, it's good for taxes. It's because
It
if you made
never
3,000, you have to pay taxes on the capital gains of 3,000, but you
Yeah.
lost 3,000. So I don't know what that really means financially, but yeah. Okay, I have a question for you. What is the number one financial mistake you see among your clients, millennials and Gen Z, if there's a difference? Millennials versus Gen Z. I don't know if there's a difference, but what is the number one mistake you see when you have like one-on-one coaching and people are like, tell me what to do financially?
I would say buying these meme stocks. Sorry, Steffi. Buying these companies.
So you think an overwhelming amount of people do come to you with like a GameStop, like crypto?
I get a lot of these questions. They were like, "Oh, what do you think of GameStop?" Or before, a couple, like
Yeah.
a year or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
before when it was all in hype.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna put in 3K into GameStop." I'm like, "Why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, don't do that." And they're like, "Oh, but it's going up." They don't really understand how the stock market works, right? They kind of just go with whatever the news, whatever the hype is at that moment. So I say, hey, whatever, if Uncle Bob says at the dining table and, to invest in this one particular asset or whatever, and this person never invests, like that should be like a little danger,
Okay.
red
Yeah,
flag
you got
there.
it from Rec or
Right.
whatever. Right? You got it from a Korean rapper, dude. Stop taking
I got it
financial
from-
advice from a...
I got it from Reddit. Okay, I was obsessed
Some
with
Wall
the
Street
Reddit.
bets. right?
What's the saying? It's like if you heard it in the news, it's supposed to rhyme, but it's something like if you heard it in the news, it's too late or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
There's like some
buy
quote
the fear,
about that.
sell the news, whatever.
Yeah, sell the news. Right. Buy the rumor,
Yeah.
sell the news. That's right. That's right.
Okay, is there any other sort of outside of those two things? What's like a even more aggressive way to like make your money within a year, but you might potentially lose it? What's like
And a more aggressive way to invest that 50K.
invest that 50K?
Yeah.
Not
See,
roulette.
My boys get anxious
okay,
over
so
I like roulette.
when I say again, we're gonna start with the emergency fund first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And
Our fans like
then
to live the life on the edge.
we're going
We don't got
to
plan
invest
Bs.
in something where we are diversified in S&P 500 funds that have generally annually on average given 7 to 10% annual returns. Then the next step of degree of risk would be to invest in individual companies. But with that, because with individual companies, there's going to be more upside potential, right? You're not investing in this amalgam of 500 companies, right? Where, you're just so spread out. Now you can invest in companies that, like Microsoft, or maybe Amazon.com or Alphabet, Google. These are kind of the companies that may grow 20%, 30% on an annual basis, right? Not every year, right? They can also drop 20%, 30%, right? There's going to be more volatility. So I would say you can go into more of these individual companies, but stick to components that are still in the S&P 500. Microsoft, Amazon.com, Alphabet, Google, whatever people are comfortable with. These are still companies in the S&P 500. Institutions with billions of dollars, they are obligated to put their money into these companies. They are obligated to put it in. So this means that if they put their money in, it's really hard for them to take it out because they are investing for their clients, right? And at the end of the year, they need to show their clients how much money they've made. So they have this like fiduciary, they have this obligation of sharing with them what it is that they're investing in, right? How much money, what percentage yield that they've been getting. So these are the companies that are usually relatively on the safer side, right?
Yeah.
I like what you're
That's smart.
saying. I don't know if you heard this
Yeah.
part. This is the key part. Like when you say aggressive approach, you take that 50K and it's not like you put it all in that. But I like this thing of like, okay, take 30%, put it in high yield. Take the other 30%, put it in an ETF. And then whatever you feel comfortable with aggressive, whatever you mean by that, take that and then invest. So it's not like you should never just take that 50K and just like put it into a company or whatever.
That's correct.
Right? It's just really a percentage of how much you want to.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to make this really clear and
But that's
very
really
forward as possible for our viewers, because I don't want them to mishear me and say, oh, he says to invest in this one company, Microsoft.
Facebook.
I'm just going to put everything. I'm like, no. Emergency fund. There is building steps.
building
first,
steps.
Right?
I never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Building
Yeah.
steps.
And I
like
think
that.
people go the opposite way instead. They go from the top down rather than from the bottom up.
Okay. Do you have do you believe in financial advisors? Because Fumi has one.
Yeah, what do you
And
think about financial advisors?
yeah, and
I
I-
just got one last year because I was just like, I can't like think about this. I know it's so easy to put it in one thing, but like I don't even know how to like do it, and like so I just got a guy, and I've been looking at how much money he's been taking, and he's taking about $2K a year. Maybe I don't have like a ton of money in there because I still have my own because I didn't trust. He wanted me to put everything in there, but it's like he takes a percentage of like the assets under management, and I was like, I don't feel like paying you that much money, so I still have some stuff that I do on my own. But like, what's your general take on financial advisors?
Gotcha. Are you paying a percentage or
Yeah,
a
percentage.
A percentage.
Yeah.
What percent is
I
this?
think it's 0.5.
0.5.
Sounds like so much.
The more you invest, the less he takes.
I see.
More the smaller the percentage, but
That's around my threshold, around 0.5. I personally don't really like financial advisors where they kind of tell you what to invest, because what is it that he's really doing? Is he investing, taking your money and investing?
he's
in specific
investing it on
assets?
behalf of me. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he's not doing like stocks and he's like mainly ETFs. But
Okay.
to your point, like I guess I could just take everything and put it in SPY and don't look at it, and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
My girlfriend just read some book, and she was like, you got to put it in this thing called the VT Sacks. You just put it in there and you don't have to look at it for 30 years. But like, I was like, okay, let me like open one up. But I'm like, okay, now I got to like roll I have an account with Principal from my other job, and I got to roll that over. And then like, even when I go there, I have to like buy it, and each thing is like $30,000 or something like that. It's like a 3,000 or 30,000. And so I'm like, I don't like that's time, right? To your point, that's time.
That's right.
And so I always think about, is that time to me worth $2,000 a year? Maybe, because I just want to go do comedy and write and do other things.
Yeah.
And so for me right now, because I'm not, if it was taking like tens of thousands of dollars, maybe I'd think twice about it. But right now, 2K seems okay to me. But I'm making about 2,000-3,000 a year, so he's just kind of taking what I'm making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I see. I think if it's for you, if you want to give it to someone else to do, sure. But at the same time, my thing is like, they're doing the same exact thing that a lot of these retail investors are doing too, just investing in VOO or SPY or, VTSAX or VTI, whatever it is. So it's just something that you might have to remind yourself to do.
Right.
Every month, like, oh, hey, beginning of the month, I already set up my recurring deposits of $541 into my Roth IRA. I just need to remember to buy 1 or 2 shares of this one ETF.
Right.
And if people can do that for 12 months, just spend like maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the beginning of every month, then that's like $2,000 saved.
Right.
But for some people, they might say, hey, I don't want to look at it. That's fine. But I will say that if it's on a percentage basis, if it's like 0.5, 1% is like really danger zone for me.
He was going to do 1, and I said no.
I said
no.
Don't do 1. Because 1 is like, okay, you ready? If he takes 1, this means mathematically, if you're investing for the next 30, 40 years, you could be paying up to $30,000 to $100,000 of expenses, of management fees.
Good thing I didn't take his advice. He's
What?
just a comedian. Fumi's been like, you should just get a financial advisor.
Well, I thought that he could help you set shit up. I might fire mine in the future. I don't know. To your point, I don't know if this is somebody I'm going to have forever.
Yeah.
It was nice that he set it up. And to your point, like when I do my taxes, my accountant's like, okay, you can put 40K in this account, put 40K in this account, and then you can save this much. He doesn't tell me, my accountant doesn't tell me what to invest in, but he'll be like, you can put 40K in this thing or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so then that's when I do the thing of like just buying a 40K worth of SPY and not look at it again. I could just do that, but yeah, no, you're right. I should probably fire my guy. You're right. I should probably fire my guy.
I don't know what to do.
But it's up to you. I don't want to tell you what to do. Just
But I also hate
you're
firing
comfortable with.
people, so that's a whole nother thing. You know, I can't.
I don't mind losing $30,000, $100,000.
Yeah, like I'm really
It's
bad
whatever.
at breakups, so that's like tough. But yeah, you got any other financial questions?
Yeah. What's the best way to save money?
Have some sort of budgeting app, right? Being very aware of like what it is that's going in and going out. I think a lot of people, they don't really know. They just kind of put on autopilot.
Oh, yeah.
Right? They don't really look at their expenses. So I would say first it's the awareness that's very important. So getting a budgeting app, there's so many out there. There's free, Mint, YNAB, whatever it is. Yeah, and just kind of seeing how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. And there are a lot of apps out there that will automatically set up recurring deposits into like these buckets for savings. And I think automating things is the best way to go.
I need to do that.
It makes it less painful.
Automating
Because if you don't see
saving.
it, right? Like it just goes in and it's like, oh, it hurts less. Right?
Pinpoint.
Can you do that on Mint? Just automatically put money.
No, Mint is only to like look at the data, so you have to do
To
it
see
through
all your
Chase.
accounts all
So
at
where?
once.
What do I use?
You have to go to your Bank of America account.
and just let it pull it out.
Yeah,
should
you can
do
do
that.
auto.
There's
auto
like a lot of apps where like I think Ally,
Oh,
Ally,
Wealthfront. I sent you a code,
Wealthfront,
bro.
SoFi.
5.3%.
Dude, you sent me a code
5.3.
because you want your freaking $200 for.
You don't get $200. You get a
How
higher.
much do you get
No, you get a 5.3% on your savings.
on mine? But then you get something.
I get 5.3% for 6 months if you sign up too. There's no. I
I
don't
That's
get
get
a
why.
0.5% boost.
Yeah, but why don't you want to do that?
No, I'm just kidding. Dude, okay. My problem is I have like many different. Like I have like Robinhood. I have I have 2 other accounts. Like it's just everywhere, and that confuses.
But don't you
me.
use Mint? Because I have a lot of accounts too, but Mint just summarizes it for me, so I know
It does.
Yeah.
So should I have a 4th? Like, doesn't it get too? I literally have like so many random accounts.
Well, you can have the buckets within the savings account.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that app specifically. So like with Ally, they have like little savings buckets. So it'll automatically put it in.
How much do you think I
as-
should be putting in?
The general rule. The general rule is 20% in the beginning. 20% of your paycheck after taxes. Yeah, 20% into savings and investing.
Can you do that?
But remember,
could
fill
do
up that 3 to 6 month emergency fund bucket first
I
in
got
high yield
that.
savings, and then whatever's left over, then you got to really make your cash work for you, right?
Okay.
Investing it into the S&P 500. Yeah.
So I'm confused. Okay, this is my part where I get confused. Is like, can I now take things out of my savings? Okay, say that I have 3 to 6 months in my regular account, right? My checking account.
That's bad though already.
What do you mean it's bad?
You shouldn't have that much cash in your checking.
I have more than that in that account because I don't
Just move it.
understand.
Just
Well,
move it.
this is what I'm worried about is the tax stuff. I don't understand the tax stuff. So like I have more than this 3 to 6 months. And I'm worried that if I put it into like a savings account, like into Ally, the rest of it, can I pull it out without being taxed? Like I don't understand how that.
Taxed? It's your money. There's no tax.
Oh,
You can
savings
pull
is
it out
you don't
any-
get taxed.
Savings accounts are just regular savings accounts. It's
You're
just,
not
yeah.
buying anything.
It's only the stuff when I buy the S&P stuff. That's when I sell. I'm
I
taxed.
see. So this is a really good question. So the interest that you make is going to be taxed. Any income that you make is going to be a taxable thing. So if you get $500 from your high yield savings account a month or $3,000 for the year, whatever it is, that money is going to be taxed.
Even if I don't pull it out, it'll be taxed.
Even if you
Okay.
don't, yeah,
Right.
but well, the money is going to trickle in automatically into your account.
Okay.
So it's like, cha-ching, you got a paycheck.
Right. But
Yeah.
not the original money you have. So you're never losing money.
You're
Okay.
never, you
You're never
cannot
losing.
lose money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. With
okay.
the S&P, like when you're investing in S&P 500 funds or whatever, I think what you mean is if you were to invest in it and then you sell it for a capital gain, then yes, the difference that you get from buying it to selling it, that amount is going to be taxed. So if you buy one share for $10 and it grows to $12 and you sell it, then you get that $2 capital gain. That $2 is going to be taxed.
Even if I keep it in that, like, if I use like Robinhood, even if I keep it in there,
Even
I'm
if you
still being
keep-
taxed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you
click
sell
sell, yes.
that's right. If you sell it, it's a taxable event. However, I think you might be talking about unrealized gains. So if you buy something for $10 and it goes up to $12 and you don't sell it,
Yeah.
you don't have to pay any taxes.
Okay.
And if it goes up to $20, you don't sell it, you don't have to pay any taxes. It's when you sell it
Right.
and you make a realized gain, then it's a taxable event. Then you have to
Even
pay
crypto?
taxes. Even with
What?
crypto. Yeah.
Why do you
No,
keep making me
anything.
seem like I'm
Yeah.
dumb?
Yeah.
I'm
No,
asking
no,
you-
no,
It's
no.
like a fun. It's just like
No,
funny.
this is
It's
a
funny about
very good
crypto.
question. A lot of people, yes, no.
Sorry, I don't have a fucking financial advisor
No,
who I
didn't
pay like
say-
thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's just funny. You keep still act. I think it's funny you haven't given up on crypto. I've been trying to get you to give up on crypto for like 8 months, but
I've
I still
lost.
can't.
Okay.
Just
I've-
sell it.
Okay, I've lost just so much money on doing my own investments. What I mean investments is any stock stuff,
Right.
other than my Roth and like.
Right, because you're not buying Facebook. You should have just bought Facebook, but you're buying like weird
I have
shit.
Starbucks.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you have S&P 500 funds?
No.
Just in general?
She does not.
I don't.
No, I looked at it. You literally only had crypto, Nokia, GameStop.
No, that's only in my Robinhood.
Robinhood.
But then in my other stuff,
Oh, I don't know about the other stuff.
I don't know either. I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, okay, because with my Roth IRA, that's where I've been buying the S&P stuff.
Okay.
But I bought both mutual funds and I bought ETFs. Very confusing. Like, why
Okay.
do I have? Is that okay? Like, can I have many different types under my Roth IRA? Like, just buy. It doesn't matter what
Yes,
it is, right?
yeah. You can have a lot of different mutual funds and ETFs, and that's totally fine. But a lot of these funds, they all pretty much do the same thing. It's just that all these different brokerages they have, or institutions, they have their own basket of stocks, an ETF that they sell. So it's like Honda selling their Accord or Toyota selling their Camry. It's all the same, like IVV, VOO, SPY. There are certain differences in expense ratios and ratios of allocation.
It is weird how they vary in
right?
price
Just
a little bit.
I know they
Yeah.
vary in price just a little bit, but they essentially do. If you look at the track history, the track record of how well they performed over the last 1, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, it's very, very similar.
Okay.
But I would say that it's, for me, I would consolidate all of them into the same asset. Yeah. Because the reason is because...
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so if you have one share of IVV, one share of VOO, one share of SPY, there's redundancies right now. So I would just put everything into just one.
Why? Because of the redundancy?
Because... I don't want to get too advanced. It's because of...
Oh shit, we're too dumb. This is the important part. We can't understand it.
Right.
We can't understand it because we're too fucking dumb. Okay, go ahead.
It's because you can sell covered calls against your shares later
He lost
on.
me.
Wait, hold on.
He lost me.
Shh, no, you're overthinking it. Listen to his mouth.
Okay.
Okay, go
Listen
ahead.
to
Keep
my
talking.
Okay.
Watch
so
his mouth and
Okay,
I'll
watching his mouth.
listen.
once you accumulate 100 shares of a particular underlying asset, it allows you to sell options against your shares, against the assets that you have.
Okay.
And that opens up a whole bunch of doors for you to generate income in the stock market.
Oh.
These are strategies that every institution does. These are
Call
these
options.
finance
Okay.
these finance
Okay.
advisors and
Yeah.
hedge fund managers, mutual fund managers. Do they sell covered calls? You bet they do.
Okay, this is huge because I have a lot of shares of different ETFs that
Okay.
are
Me
all kind of
too.
the same.
Me
And
too.
I was doing that because I felt uncomfortable putting it into one, even though it's the same
It's the same.
thing. But now I'm going to sell that shit and I'm going to consolidate. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to look up what options mean later.
But I don't understand covered call options, and I know that you teach it at your school.
Yeah.
Do we have time to get into? I mean,
This is so much. The
This is
minute
so
he
much,
started
dude.
talking about options and he started saying
I mean,
stuff,
I don't know if this is an option-y kind
this
of
is
podcast.
like this is so
an option-y
like
kind
my
of,
head is gonna burst right
This
now.
is like Wolf of Wall Street territory.
I'm at 20.
It's really easy. I promise.
Okay.
If I don't know if the followers
Does it happen
viewers-
automatically if you have to do it yourself?
You have to do it.
So once you hit 100 shares,
So once you have 100,
dude, I'm going to hit that. Okay.
Once you hit 100 shares, and it's very okay. So here,
I'm gonna hit that real hard,
hit that,
baby.
dude.
After this pod, it's
I'm
going
going to hit
hard.
that so hard. Okay, go ahead.
So the 100 share thing, as long as you're contributing, into your Roth and you're buying 1-2 shares, and then these ETFs, they most likely will have some sort of like stock share split later on. So you'll have even more, right? Which will give you more options. So once you have 100 shares, the beauty of it is you can now sell these rights against your shares to sell your shares to another person for a certain price that you choose. It's called the strike price. And then in return, you get paid a premium.
Yes.
Is this foolproof? Yes. Is this foolproof, or can you get screwed over for this?
Well, it is a long-term holding strategy. So if you already have the shares already, right, and you're getting dividends on a quarterly basis, you can sell these rights against your shares anyway by choosing these specific strike prices. I don't want to get too deep into it, but then you can collect these premiums because you already have the 100 shares. And this is a really great strategy, especially when the stock market doesn't really go anywhere, which happens a lot actually, right? There's a lot of times where the stock market might have some sort of uncertainty in the news or whatever, and then we might start trending sideways. And what a lot of these hedge fund managers, mutual fund managers do is they start to sell these call option contracts, cover call contracts against the shares, the millions and billions of shares that they have, to just collect money. It's like a second dividend.
So you're
like
doing
that.
all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
This is how you've gotten rich, and we are
you're
sitting
doing
here
all this
paying
stuff.
other. Yeah.
Okay.
I promise
this
you,
is
it's not that
This is
hard.
huge for me.
It's really not that
Really?
hard.
This is huge
I
for me.
swear.
Oh my God.
I'll give you
Okay.
guys. I'll give you a pass and everything later after we have this podcast. Learn it. You'll be like, oh shoot,
We did it.
podcast over. Like we're done.
We don't have to steal Brandon scissors anymore, baby. The finances of Call to Leap by Cash Cuties Consulting LLC.
Very professional.
Okay, you do it. Overview. In the past 3 months, Steve spent $24,000 on his credit cards. Now, you give us 2 credit cards. I know you split this with your wife.
Yeah.
But 24 is that might be our record, maybe?
Really? I don't think so.
Was Cat higher?
But remember, this is again
people,
amongst
2 people.
2 people,
You're right,
and also he's a millionaire.
He's a millionaire. Okay, so let's look at your categories. This is just the overview. You spent the most on food and drink, about $9,000, $9,200. Shopping, $5,300. Health and wellness, $1,600. Professional services, about $1,300. Ads, which I thought was interesting, we'll talk about later, about $1,100. Utilities, about $1,000. Groceries, about $1,000, which I thought was very low.
That's extremely low
for 2 people, 3 months.
No one's cooking at home.
No one's cooking at home, and we got to do something about that. Entertainment, $794. Car expenses, $432. Gym, $408. Pet stuff, $404. AI, $340.
Wow.
There's some stuff I didn't understand, so I put unknown under category. Gas and fuel, $230. Even though you have a Tesla, so I don't know what that means. Education, $194. Ride share, $130.
Wait, sorry.
Dry cleaning, $50. Parking, $49. Subscriptions, $30. How do you feel about this right now?
Yeah, I'm not too surprised. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm not trying to make any excuses here. So it turns out that this year was the year where our cousins decided to come visit us all separately.
Oh.
So I had a cousin come over in, what was it, February? Something like that, February, right? Or March. And then so they wanted to come. And I said, that's awesome. You guys can visit us in the States. And I was like, oh, can you guys all come together? And they're like, no, we have to come. We're going to come at different times.
Okay.
Like, oh, shoot. So then when they came, we had to do the whole entire LA tour and
Gotcha,
everything.
gotcha.
Right. Howlin' Rays, Disneyland. That's why you probably saw a lot of Disneyland on there.
stuff,
There's
yeah.
a lot of Disneyland stuff.
I forget how
Right.
expensive it is to be a host. Have you become the rich cousin who's like, they're like, oh, the American rich cousin. We gotta
Are they
go.
coming
Like,
from Taiwan?
Taiwan. Yeah, all 3 of them were
Okay,
from
so
Taiwan.
yeah, they're thinking that. You gotta
I
check
think
them
about
out.
that because I grew up going to Brazil and I would stay at my aunt's house, but I loved going to my rich aunt's house because
Yeah,
she had like everything and we would always get the best food. She had a pool, but I forget how much money they probably spent
yeah.
on me and my sister.
Absolutely. And then we're going to get into these exact expenses. Moving on, Steve accounts for about 45% of the total credit card spend. Did you know this? Your wife spent about 39%. You're about 45%. And there's about 15% unknown.
That's
so
a dog.
You're doing
The
most of
dog has a
spending.
credit card.
The dog?
That's
Where was the
that's
cousin?
the
I don't know. Oh, yeah, next slide. Steve may have his finances in order, but we found some of his spending habits are out of control.
Out of
Is that
control
supposed to be me?
warning.
Yeah, that was an AI
I
image.
see, got it.
Yeah.
Pew, pew,
Shout out to
pew.
Bing. Steve spent over $3,500 on ice cream. LOL. What is going on,
Bro,
my guy?
3,500.
What is going on?
$3,500
There
on
was
ice
one
cream?
charge from Wonderlust for like $3,000. What is
There's
going
no
on?
way you're spending
Oh.
3,000
Was that
on
a party?
No. That is no, that's not ice cream.
Are you guys swimming
That's-
in ice cream?
No, that's Candace's. She's going on a trip. It's called Wanderlust. It just, it's not. No, I had the same reaction too. Yeah, that's
Bro.
why. That's what I asked her too. I was like, "What is this like ice
Fumi.
cream like?"
No, but it's called Wonderlust.
It's,
I know,
yeah.
but it's embarrassing
Well, okay.
that
even-
you just
but-
fucking put
but-
ice cream and her
but can I
fucking
say-
health holistic trip.
Can I say?
What?
Minus 3,000, that's still embarrassing.
600.
85
That
on
means
ice cream?
200 a month on ice cream. That's
a
great.
lot.
That's
That's
a
a
lot
lot.
of
That's a
money.
lot. That's a lot.
only ice cream. We're not even considering boba and all the
got-
other desserts.
Dude, you have a dessert problem,
Y'all
dog.
have an addiction to dessert.
Yes, dude. Okay, bro, you got donuts 6 times this month. Are you okay? So ice cream, right? Boba, miscellaneous desserts, donuts, acai bowl, cookies. Who are you, dude? Boba 11
What?
times, ice cream 8 times, dessert 3 times, donuts 6 times.
You're a sugar monster.
You're a sugar monster, dude. You know about this?
Yeah, we do love boba. I love boba. So,
But like
but
donuts,
the,
dude?
the donuts,
Ice cream,
they-
dude.
Is it 'cause they're cheap?
So because they don't have Krispy Kreme in Taiwan, and then every time my
your
cousins,
cousins.
come, I'm like, oh, they were like, oh, I want to do Krispy Kreme, but we can't just buy one.
Right.
We got to buy like a couple dozen. And
Gotcha.
the day before they leave, we usually will buy a whole bunch, vacuum seal it, and try not to like
vacuum
smush
seal?
it.
How do you
Or not
vacuum
vacuum
seal?
seal, put it into
Crispy.
Ziploc.
How do you
bags,
make
and then
them
we
puffy
send 'em-
again?
I think they turned out okay when I asked Eric. Right?
Bro, you're
Yeah.
doing some like
Yeah.
underground donut dealing shit, man. This is I really wanted this to just be you and your wife and be like, yeah, we
Yeah.
just really have a problem with sweets, and that's just who we are. But it's great. It's very cute.
Okay, so I also want to say that usually when we go out for dinners and stuff like that, I am the one who pays. I kind of say, hey, you know what? I'll cover everyone. So every time we go out, it's not just me and Candace. It's like a party of 6, a party of 7.
Gotcha.
So
Do you
Generous
feel
guy.
weird about that? Do you want to ask them?
I don't mind. I feel, yeah. We have this conversation a lot with my wife, where Candace is like, "Oh, you're paying a lot for everyone," but I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
it just kind of fills out my sense of purpose. Like
Aw.
I like to give. Yeah, but I
Purpose is to get Taiwanese kids crispy donuts.
I mean, I loved the aunt that spends the most money. What are you gonna do
No,
at
of
the
course.
end?
From the kids' point of view, you're like an amazing. I don't know. It'd be funny if your cousins were your age, by the way.
they
are.
they're in their 30s.
Okay, that's messed up. That's messed up.
What the
They're in their
fuck?
20s and 30s.
Okay, that's not
Yeah,
cute. That's not
so,
cute. But okay.
Are you at a place where you feel like bad not paying?
For sure. I think when the check comes, I notice that everyone just kind of waits. And then it just kind of just slowly kind of migrates over, flies over to my area,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I'll take out the credit
What?
card.
You know why? It's because you literally have marketed yourself as a millionaire. Now you are saying
That's a good point.
I am cash. There are dollar signs written all over
That's
you.
a good point.
Do you know
gotta
what I
stop
mean?
saying that. You gotta stop saying that,
stop.
dude. just former teacher. Former teacher. Just former teacher. That's good enough.
1,000 year.
Because when you said millionaire, yeah, I'm like, yeah, definitely. Like if we went out to eat, like, I mean, not that I know you, but there is this vibe of like, well, you're a fucking million. You know what I mean? There is
Yeah.
that. You're the one. That's a good point, Steffi.
Right?
We need to be changing this
We
way
need
of
to
business.
help you. It's like self-made millionaire / responsible. So pay for your own
Responsible.
shit.
Yeah, pay for your own shit.
Period.
TM.
TM.
Steve, okay. Well, now we know this is what you're cousins, but you spent about $260 on Disneyland stuff. We thought you were a Disney adult for a second.
I am.
Yeah.
I came to a place where like I told Candace, I'm like, I hate Disneyland now. Like I cannot.
Okay.
I'm
That's
tired
me.
of it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I know I love Disneyland, but in short little bursts,
Sure,
just like maybe like once a year during the holiday season. But yeah, when my cousins came, I'm like, oh shoot, we got to do the whole 2 days in Disneyland, 1 day in California Adventure, and they have the passes.
Yeah.
Or it's either you buy 1 day or 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's more cost effective to buy the 3-day pass. So we're like, might as well just do the 3 days.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's so funny that your cousins are like in their 20s and then you're taking them to Disneyland. Because I really pictured like 8-year-olds running around, like really cute 8-year-old Taiwanese
Really?
boys.
No,
No,
they're 20 or 20 something.
They got,
30.
they got a job and like a mortgage.
Wait till you go visit them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All the bow.
He's still going to
So
pay though out of guilt. He's still
yeah.
taking out the credit card.
Well, I feel bad because in Taiwan, they don't, like it's a lot, the culture in Taiwan, they're always constantly working.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for them to go on a vacation.
Really?
And it's like the culture there, it's like a workaholic, everyone just from 10 to 10 or something like that.
I feel
And for
that.
them to come here, because my cousins, they haven't came for 25 years or something. So I knew that the next time they come, it would probably be another 20 something years.
Whoa.
So I might as well like just make sure that they have a really good memory.
That's really nice of
really
you.
nice.
That's really
cute. That's really cute.
That's okay.
Number 3. Steve's a little spa slut. You love a little
You
spa.
just call him a slut.
You
He's a
love little
school
spa.
teacher.
A lot of
Slut.
spa, a lot of therapy, counseling, a lot of like mental wellness
health.
stuff. We love this. What's
This is
going on with
great.
you on spa? Is it your wife mainly? or-
Yeah, I would say a lot of the. Sorry.
Why'd you say that, Fumi?
what? I don't know,
Why'd
could've
you
been
think
you.
it was the wife?
No, I thought it was. I don't know.
We
I
both
really don't
go
know.
to okay. So with the spa thing,
Yeah.
we buy the Asian packages where if you
What does
buy
that
10,
mean? Okay.
and you get the 11th one for free. So we have to. We go. Oh, okay. Might as well just. We're gonna probably come back here.
We love it.
What
deal.
kind of massage are you
get it.
getting? What is, or is it a
Just like a regular 1 hour massage. We found a place maybe like 2 minutes away from our house.
Oh, that's great.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, this is me projecting. I would love to be a little spa slut for sure. Like I love massages. I would love to go. We had Kalila on a couple weeks ago. She goes to a massage
She
place
spends a
once
lot.
a year
Yeah.
or once a week, and yeah, I would love a massage once a week.
I do the cheap thing where I go to those like the Chinese reflexology and I get the foot massage, but it gives you like all. Do you know what I'm talking
Everything.
about? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everything
You like
for
it?
like it's like $20 or $30. Well, not 20. It's
Well,
like
how
gone
long?
up to $30. It's an hour.
Oh, that's
$30
really
yeah,
good.
for
yeah.
an
But you
hour?
have to go to SGV for it.
But they do the body too.
Yeah, they do the body, but it's more focused on the foot first.
Gotcha.
Which I like a good foot ass massage. Yeah. So it's
okay. You spent a lot on therapy. I don't know if you're down to talk about that, but like it was like I think it was a combination of like counseling at a church / couples therapy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so my wife and I, a couple of months ago, we had marriage counseling.
Okay.
Yeah, so just kind of like do check-ins.
You've been going like you go like twice a month, maybe.
We did once a week.
Once a week.
Yeah, and it
it's
became
pretty
twice
frequent.
a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then also Candace has.
I think that's really
yeah.
really healthy. I've never
Yeah.
done couples therapy, but I think therapy is great for everyone.
Do
But
you guys
yeah.
ever talk about money in therapy? Is money like a thing that?
this is a HIPAA violation. You cannot be asking them this stuff.
Okay, fine.
No, I'm
Do
kidding. I
you-
don't know. He can break it. If he wants to.
Yeah, I guess sometimes it's not really our main focus. We talk about other
there's
things.
other things going on.
Yeah. Just
Like-
in generally speaking, couples therapy. Do you recommend it? Like, what have you gotten out of it? Do you think is it stupid? Is it good? I mean, obviously you're going. You're spending $800 on it, so you believe in it. But
Yeah. I guess it's good. I mean, this was very weird for me to go into counseling. It was kind of like Candace's idea that we kind of do these like check-ins, but I was open to it. First I was like, oh, maybe I'm not going to learn anything. It's probably just someone talking and us finding out our own answers, which a lot of times it really is, right? But I learned a lot about myself and just like the way I react about things, how I kind of communicate with Candace. So I thought it was very helpful.
so you're no longer going.
Oh, we're no longer going right now,
Oh,
but
okay,
I
okay,
do
okay.
think we are going to go back again. Or actually, I don't want to give too much away. But
Yeah,
we're
you
just
don't
taking
have
a little
to.
bit of break
Okay,
right now.
that's great. That's great.
Okay, we're gonna take a deep dive even
Oh,
more.
I just wrote just some individual lines that I thought was interesting, but
wait,
Hey, money.
wait, Abercrombie? Do you guys like Abercrombie?
oh yeah, I put Abercrombie, grow up.
So there was like a sale this one time.
They have
and
good stuff there now.
They
No,
do.
they do. I have a
Yeah.
couple of shows from Abercrombie
Yeah.
too.
I worked there when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was like, I know, I'm like flexing.
But
like,
but
I
they've
was like,
rebranded, right? Now
they
it's not
they
for
were
little,
rebranded
little
after
people.
like
Little
being
people. Little-
racist against Asians. I like that we all support them even
That's
after
right.
all
They're
this.
racist against Asians. What are you
racist.
doing, bro? $5.39
Dude,
at Abercrombie?
But the shirts, good quality
They're really
cotton.
nice. Yeah,
What are you gonna
did
do?
you go to Columbus or it just says because they're from Columbus? It just says Columbus.
I don't know. We bought online. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's an Ohio company,
Yeah.
so that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
And I noticed that you run TikTok ads, and I thought that was interesting because you're so popular.
Oh yeah.
Is this just expanding
It's
business?
just trying to see. Yeah. We're
Did
just
it
testing
work?
stuff out. No.
Oh,
It didn't
okay.
work.
750 though. 750. Yeah, that's really discouraging to hear that your TikTok ads didn't work, because sometimes I'll put Facebook ad money to like promote my comedy shows when I travel, and I have no idea if it's working at all. But I heard from friends that like, because I always put in like $50, but they're like, you have to put in like at least
You have to put
300,
more, yeah.
to even have a chance at it working out. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's kind of all I had.
Yeah, that was
That's
great.
it.
Yeah,
Steve, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Of course.
This
Yeah,
was
thanks for
truly
having
so
me.
enlightening.
So
It is so
educational.
nice to learn about cover calls. We're gonna be looking into that later. Forgot what it was already.
Wait, he pointed at the screen here. He saw this part that Fumi wrote. Grow up, Steve.
Because I was thinking Abercrombie is for kids, but now they rebranded. You know what I'm saying?
That's stuff for adults.
Hey.
They're nice.
There's an adult
They're really
and a
soft.
kids.
Let me
Have you
roast
been
in peace.
shopping at Abercrombie Kids? Because there is an Abercrombie Kids.
No, I mean nobody
Is
goes.
that the size that you wear?
Well, Abercrombie kids.
Kids boy size.
I definitely used to wear kid stuff for a long time, but now I'm getting older, a little thicker, so I'm getting thick. Your boy's a thick Asian boy. Anyways, Steve, thanks for coming on the
All
podcast. Where could our fans find you and your work? What do you want our listeners to know?
Sure, yeah. You guys can find me on all major social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah, and if you want to check out our coaching services at calltoleap.com, feel free to do so. We have a lot of free resources there. We have a beginner's investing guide that's free, a money cheat sheet. I'm like 99% sure everyone's going to find value from that. I spent a lot of hours and days just sifting through all my favorite apps, things to do, how to put your money in where. So there's that. And yeah, there's free course. There's a free intro course on calltoleap.com. So yeah, just check it out. Check out my page. There's a lot of highlights, a lot of great content out there.
That's
Amazing.
so generous that
Amazing.
it's free.
It's free. Check out Call to Leap for sure. You can find us on all the social medias at Cash Cuties Pod. We're on TikTok and Instagram. You can find me on there at the Fumi Abe. That's TheFumiAbe.
And you can find me at my Instagram, bakegoods, BIKEDGUDS, and my website, steffiebake.com.
Hell yeah. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/CashCutiesPod for bonus content. And then shout out to our sound engineer, Domagoy, our video editor, Matthias, and our analyst, Holy Sandler. Thank you so much. DM us, email us with your questions. We love hearing from you. We'll answer it on this podcast. And I think that's
until
it.
next week.
Until next week, we'll see you there.
Spend your money wisely.
Or don't. Bye.
Bye.